What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Say Less with Kaz and Lowkey. My name is Kaz.
Yo, what up? This is Lowkey from New Jersey, Howard University graduate, Apple Music hits, host, hip-hop, R&B throwback every day, 8 to 10. And of course, I'm here to Say Less with Kaz, my brother.
You already know.
The Man Cave Edition.
I didn't want to left hand you.
That's fine.
That's why I kind of left you hanging.
We're at home. We're at home now. If we're in public, it's like, hey, man, don't do that.
I wouldn't offhand you like that. That's not what brothers do.
My hand's out there. Just come on. Give me something.
That's not what brothers do. Right. If you're watching this on youtube.com/Kazim, which I implore you guys to do, subscribe, leave comments, rate, all that type of stuff. If you're watching this podcast on that medium, you notice a little difference today. Usually we're up in the shop. Shout out to Vic, Cliffside Park, Lions Den, the home of Say Less. We're usually up in there. And if you've been following the podcast for a while, usually we drop Mondays and Thursdays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, I thought we should do something different today.
Yeah.
We've been kind of debating how we wanted to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people listen to the show for the yucks. A lot of people listen to the show to hear us bullshit about music and sports and laugh and not take things so seriously because life is serious.
Right.
We're broadcasting this episode from my basement in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like today's an episode that we should really, really focus on taking care of ourselves.
Right.
And self-caring. And we're in such a battle right now as humans. We're in such a battle right now as people, as a country.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's no way we could fight a battle without being properly prepared for it. So we're not going to be in the barbershop today. We're going to be somewhere where I'm most comfortable. And we'll be back next week. But still very raw. Like, still feel very, very raw. And, you know, had we recorded Wednesday like we usually do, or Tuesday like we usually do,
Would have been off.
I would have been off because I saw what everybody saw Monday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you heard the last episode. I mean, if you're listening to this episode in succession, like I'm hoping a lot of you people are, where like the last thing you heard was us jubilant and going crazy and laughing, and people were like, man, it was so dope to end the podcast like that. Like, it felt good. And now you hear us today. Because shit ain't fun. Like, shit ain't sweet out here. Like, anybody knows. I mean, it's not even worth trying to preface to a lot of people, because you should know what's going on out there. It's been plastered
all over your screens,
everywhere,
plastered all over your phones,
jerseys,
commercials, Twitter,
everywhere,
Instagram.
You can't escape it.
You know, I don't know. I was just like really reluctant to, you know, even sit in front of this camera and act as if everything is all right and act as if that, you know, my mental battery is on low.
Yeah.
But, you know, in these times, like conversation, dialogue, self-care, which is pretty much the main mantra of this episode.
Yeah.
Is important. And, you know, when you have a tight-knit group of friends or acquaintances or coworkers or whatever the case is, you got to have those uncomfortable, sometimes and comfortable conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what's going on with Jacob Blake. We know what's going on with that white kid, 17-year-old white kid in Wisconsin, or Kenosha, who did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see the difference in what America represents. you see the difference in how they treat people of color and then white people. Kid killed 2 people. 17-year-old kid killed 2. I don't even want to say his name. Killed 2 people as they were protesting. Walks up to the police officers, does this little hand signal. If you watch the video, you saw there was a little hand signal he gave to the cops. They gave him bottles of water. They made sure he was okay. And he went about his day. Jacob Blake, breaking up a fight between 2 black women. Walking to his car. Kids in the car. 3 kids in the car. Officers with no remorse let off 7 shots in his spinal cord, and he is now paralyzed from the waist down. I say all that to say the evidence is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding of what America looks like and how we respond to certain things and how we respond to adversity when it comes to police officers. And as sick as it is, it's become normal. What we're watching on TV, what we're watching in the news, what we're watching on social media, this has now become normal. And it's a fucking unprecedented feeling to watch someone get killed or shot that many times close range and then continue on with your day. Because we've seen it so many times. We've seen it with George Floyd, Eric Garner. The list goes on and on. We've seen it. And I don't really understand how to conceptualize any of this shit. I don't.
Not supposed to. That's the thing.
I don't know how to. I don't.
We've been conditioned to feel like this is normal. We've been conditioned to feel like, you know, oh well, he didn't comply, so he deserved it, or he had a knife in his car, he deserved it, or like this is what people are trying to say to justify these type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in what world do you see somebody?
And then they try to say like he had the charges, right?
Gunned down. I mean, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
At some point, we as people, and I'm not saying like we to separate like black and white. We as just people who breathe air and drink water and eat food, like human beings. We as people have come to a point in our society where we can see wrong. Like, we can see wrong. If I'm a regular dude, if you're a regular dude just walking down the street, I don't know if you people have ever seen somebody get shot before. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody get hit with bullets before and gasp for air and like fight for their life. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that before. But if you were just walking down the street and you saw that in front of your face, I guarantee you, well, I would hope that
you would be able to be like, yo, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Like,
point blank,
what
period.
the fuck?
I'm not going to sit here and see somebody get shot 7 times and be like, oh, got to hear both sides. Or,
Like,
got to know what happened here. Well, was he reached or was he... That's wrong. And it could be anybody that does that. It could be 2 niggas that I know got beef. You know what I mean? You see anybody getting shot like that, it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't.
And then you go and see it, who's doing it. You see who's constantly doing it. You see who's every day, every week. It's another hashtag. It's
like the more that we're speaking up, the more agitated authority figures have gotten.
I don't know if that's entirely true.
I mean,
I don't know if that's entirely true.
They've always been agitated with people of color, but it's just like, it's really odd and really like interesting that with all these issues, when all these cops like killing people on camera or having altercations on camera, it's just really mind blowing that it still continues and it gets worse. Like, yeah, we saw George Floyd get choked out, knee in the neck, right? We saw Eric Garner choked out. Now we see 7 shots, point blank. Like, it's mind blowing that these cops, like, just to this day, August 26th, 2020, don't have the mindset of like, all right, there's something going on in the country where we probably should be a little bit more careful in how we deliver authority.
But that's the thing, they don't.
That's what I'm saying. But that's my point.
It's impossible for you to not act like you don't know what the fuck is going on and to show at least a little bit of restraint.
It's just mind blowing that they still don't have that. It just doesn't click, or it's not clicking. I don't care if you're in Wisconsin. I don't care if you're in Compton. I don't care if you're in Brooklyn. I don't care if you're in ATL. Bro, like, it's just like you said in the beginning, like, yo, wrong is fucking wrong.
Wrong's fucking wrong. I don't give a fuck who you vote for.
I
give a fuck who you vote for. I'm not going to mince words there. But, like, I don't give a fuck what your politics are, what you think. Like, yo, human lives, bro. Like, human lives. Like, nobody. I don't give a fuck what your status is, what your badge number is, who you serve, what God you serve. You have no right to alter or take somebody's life just because some fucking authority figure gives you a gun and a badge.
That man wasn't supposed to survive.
No, that was shooting to kill.
Jacob was not.
I've even brought myself around to think, like, you know what? Being an officer is a tough job.
Right.
It's a tough job, and I get it. And I've even brought myself to the thought of, well, if you're scared and you need to subdue somebody, even if you got a hair trigger and you're a pussy and you're just scared, you shoot them in the leg.
It's two
against. You hit somebody 7 times in their fucking back, you're trying to kill them.
Bro, it's not like he ran to the car.
No.
And it's not like he had, to what I see the video, doesn't have anything on him. They say, oh, he had a knife in the car. So if y'all were that scared to pull up and let off 7 shots, if y'all were that scared, y'all were right behind him. Y'all could have easily tackled his ass. Like, we're not talking like y'all about 5 feet away and he's getting into a car and y'all are trying to control what he's doing. Cool, maybe I'll give you warning shots. Maybe I'll give you that. But y'all was maybe 6 inches off his ass. And then y'all let him open the door, which was probably why y'all shot, because y'all wanted to use that as an excuse. Oh, he went into his car. My man...
It's his fucking car.
My man slowly galloped to his car, and y'all stood right behind him. Let him go to his car. When he opens the door, we're gonna open fire. Y'all could have cut that shit. Y'all could have cut that shit short and just tackled his ass. Or hit him with a fucking baton or something.
That's the thing. Y'all
had options.
We can't, like, here's how we think, right? Like,
they had options.
We're a podcast where, like, you know, we like to at least consider all sides on things, just for comedy's sake, for fun's sake, for laughter's sake. I know I do it. I like to try and at least peel back layers and be like, you know, what's the thing people are talking about? So immediately our minds go to, like, what were you really trying to do here? What were you really trying to do here? Like, we're even at this point, even as we see how wrong this shit is, we're still trying to give this motherfucker the benefit of the doubt. Like, yo, you could have did this, you could have did that, you could have did that. No. That shit's got to stop.
I mean, it still fucked them.
Fuck them 1,000%.
It's fucked them 1,000.
But like,
as human beings, we're trying to figure out the mindset and the logic of why did you have to unleash 7 shots when y'all were right behind him, and y'all could have, like Kaz just referenced, y'all could have shot that man in the back of his thigh. He would have went down.
He would have went down.
Handcuffs, boom, that's it.
And that's me giving you benefit of the doubt. You shouldn't be shooting motherfuckers anyway.
Like, you have a taser.
That should be your last resort. You shouldn't. This ain't Rambo. Like, you shouldn't be running into neighborhoods that you don't know.
Like, this ain't Contra. This is not GoldenEye. Like, bro, like, y'all, the bullseye. Like, I don't want to harp on this too much because I want to get into other stuff, you know, which happens after.
Yeah,
Jacob.
Yeah.
But it's disgusting. And again, this is a self-care episode, so you know.
Yeah, we say less at home today, man.
We shouldn't be be used to trauma on our phones and watching black men and women get slaughtered in these streets. You know, I would employ a lot of y'all to put your phones down in the morning.
Yeah.
30 minutes. You got a girl, have a conversation with your girl. If you like to listen to music, play some oldies, work out, cook breakfast, do something else. Like, we got to stay off our phones because that Monday morning I woke up and I saw that video. Fuck my whole day up.
It's weaponized. Like, our minds are being weaponized now.
Fuck my
to
whole
the
day.
point where you know it's deliberate. Like I could go my whole life without seeing somebody get shot right in front of my face. But
now
it's so easy. So it's deliberate. So anybody who listens to this video or watches this video, listens to this podcast, I just want you guys to know you got to take care of yourself. Like that's why we here today. We in my house, we chilling.
Yeah.
Like it's been a fucking week, bro.
It's been a week, bro. I almost couldn't do it.
I didn't want to record. I couldn't
almost
record yesterday.
couldn't do it. That's why I was like, when it got delayed again, I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I can't do it.
We're
today.
very human, man. Like I'm not gonna, I understand.
Just...
I understand how podcasts work. I understand, what I mean,
consistency,
and the algorithms and making
content
sure that snowball keeps building each and every week. And we're on a good run.
No, we are.
We're on a very good run.
But understand that we're human.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be times where he will hit me before we record and be like, bro, I don't got it today.
Yeah, there's been times.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times, but
I'm like,
but because
I need you today.
He was like, I need you, and I was like early, and I'm like nervous. I'm like, oh, well, what am I gonna talk about?
Yeah.
but it's. I think today is the reverse cycle because I just was in a funky ass mood all day. I was just like out of it, and we came and I'm in the car just like my mind is fucking everywhere, and I got. I'm recording shows for Apple and, so that's what that is. And then, just the COVID shit and just like, worrying about it. I have to go to DC next week. So I got to, get tested and all that shit. So it's just a lot of shit. And then.
Being black is fucking exhausting, bro.
Before I tweeted, before we started, I was like, is anyone else just tired?
Being black is fucking exhausting. I don't think y'all understand, yo. Like, this shit feels like...
This is unnecessarily difficult.
Yo, if you ever ran with a weight vest on and tried to swim in it, like, with the face mask on, it's draining, bro. Like, this shit is fucking draining. Like, I swear to God. And for the life of me, if somebody came up to me and was like, yo, I'll let you take off your black skin for a week. You could just take a break. I wouldn't do it.
The beautiful thing about
I still wouldn't do it.
The beautiful thing about
here, take a break, bro. Here, take this off. You know what I mean?
As appealing as that does sound,
I still wouldn't do it.
The beautiful thing about being black is we don't quit. We weather the storm. We support each other, and we find ways to pick ourselves up despite being shot in the back, stabbed in the back, kicked in the back, punched in the back, whipped in the back. We find ways to say, fuck it. And we live in a country that does not love us, but we love it back. It's like a fucking broken relationship. That's what being black in America is like.
It's an abusive relationship.
Going back to that nigga or going back to that girl. Every time that girl does you fucking wrong and you have the clear evidence.
It's like,
you should
get mad sometimes.
He get mad sometimes, but you know
how he get after he drank.
He high. So let him be.
No.
That's how that shit is. If you ever been in a fucked up relationship, that's how I correlate it to being black. Because you go right back. And that's how we look at America.
I swear to God, yo.
That's how we look at America.
Bullshit you.
Go right back to it.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. I absolutely have got to the point where I'm just like, shit, maybe we should go back to Africa.
And it sucks. It took.
I swear to God. I swear to God. Like, I know this ain't fucking.
Nigga, Ebro been preaching that shit for a minute though. I'm not gonna hold you.
I hear you. I hear like a lot of our people built this country for free.
Right.
We own this shit. Like we made this shit, from the ground up. But I am at that point where I'm like, yo, this country don't fucking love us. They don't, bro.
It's ridiculous how much we could contribute to this country.
But we give so much. Like the NBA, and we'll get into the NBA right now.
Yeah.
The NBA.
I can't wait to hear people say y'all so ungrateful. No, we're not ungrateful, motherfucker. We're dying by the fucking minute.
Huh.
That's why.
Let me tell you something.
That's
man.
why we're talking like this.
Let me tell you something, man. I gotta send an apology to Paul George.
Oh yeah, well, I was gonna wait for that, but yes,
I gotta send an apology to we get a lot of laughs off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we talk shit and we crack jokes, but something about the energy in that last game just like really didn't sit right with me, man. Like seeing Doc Rivers post game comments, seeing PG's post game comments, seeing Chris Paul,
despite them winning and pulling out the victory, he was like, "Man, fuck all that."
Like, didn't even speak about the game. Didn't even speak about what happened. Yeah, he was happy he won. Great, but there's going to be a segment of people that's going to try and discount or try and poo-poo on the fact that millionaire athletes are telling you that they feel oppressed. Instead of thinking, wow, these guys are worth millions and they feel they're not immune from this shit. They're not exempt from this shit.
It's just, it goes to show the responsibility they're willing to bear in a troubling time because these things are happening consistently. And when you have a person like LeBron James speak out, and you have a team like Milwaukee Bucks say, we're canning and we're straight. And then Chris Paul and Russell have the conversation, and that game is canceled. And Lakers and the Blazers, that game is canceled. It's refreshing to watch them take the control of the narrative in which America is trying to silence in their own hands.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see that. What I do wish is that they would postpone or cancel the playoffs, because when yesterday they, boycotted the games and went on strike, or however you want to phrase it, that moment was beautiful to see. And a lot of people are looking for the next course of action. Like, okay, so what happens after this? Because America looks at the NBA as a savior because the bubble came and sports was back and we had conversations and everybody's feeling good. Maybe we got to take that away. Maybe we got to cut that short.
Here's my thing.
Because of what's going on. I mean, listen, I'm not, don't take my word as law.
No.
This is just my opinion. I do think that they should not resume the playoffs. I do think that they should, if they want to stand on something. That's how I feel.
I feel like they have. Here's my thing. This is the first time in the history of professional sports anything like this has happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
First time in history.
Right.
They've already made their mark. They've got the world's attention. I want to make this quick because we do have a special guest today as well on the show.
Okay.
So I want to make sure we get him on. Eden, can you pull up the Zoom and make sure he's ready if they're in the admin room? I don't want to skip over this, right?
All right.
These athletes who have the most to lose, right?
Especially the WNBA.
The most to lose.
They put themselves on the line all the time.
We're asking, not we, as in me and you, but people are asking, well, if you're going to sit out, might as well sit out the whole thing, or it's not going to, what's the point? Like, why do black people have to continue to lose for y'all to get it? The season came to a stop 4 years to the day Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
Yeah.
This motherfucker Colin Kaepernick became more famous after it.
Right.
We've known him more for what he's done off the field than he's ever done on the field. And he did a whole lot on the field.
Right.
Why do people have to keep losing for y'all to just get it?
Because that's the makeup of America.
And the makeup's got to fucking change.
I understand that. So that's why I think for me, it just makes a louder statement to say, fuck it. Because we know how much money goes into that fucking $1 billion industry. We know how much they're relied on for entertainment, for endorsements, for just everything that the NBA brings to America as a whole. And it goes to show that J.R. Smith said this shit the other day on his fucking IG story, and I don't want to get it wrong. I think he was like, if you're not gonna listen to, he's like, if you can't see us or you can't listen to us, something in that vein. And that shit hit home. I'm like, yo, bro, they not listening to us. He's like, you won't listen to us? Fuck it, you can't see us now.
Yep.
And I want that energy to continue because, yes and no, because after the games, they do speak on everybody. They do speak on the protests. They do speak on Black Lives Matter. They do speak on, Jacob Blake. I do like that when they go straight to the point after the games are over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing to see. So it's a tenfold with me. It's like, stop, remove all the games and stand on that strike and stand on that boycott. But at the same time, after those pre-games are done, I want them to continuously speak on Black Lives Matter and the things that are going on and the things that are, the injustices, the social injustices that are being, thrown in our face. But we can have this conversation all day. Those are just my thoughts about.
I just want to give a big salute to the leaders of the NBA, the LeBrons of the world, Jaylen Browns, Kyrie Irvings, Kevin Durant's, Giannis, George Hill, Fred VanVleet, Chris Paul, Maya Moore, the entire WNBA. I mean, it's how beautiful is it that I can just say the entire WNBA because they're always unified on this shit.
Mm-hmm. And you saw the shirts that the Washington Mystics had on.
They don't never half step for nobody.
Not at all.
They don't half step for nobody. They're always ready on the front lines. Like,
and that's been the narrative of Black women.
Black women are the soul of this country. They are the conscience of this country.
They're right there.
If our women aren't felt protected and don't and feel like shit is off, shit's about to be off. But they're always ready. I gotta salute the WNBA, man, because they have never half stepped.
Yeah.
I gotta shout out Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got a lot of shit his whole life. What's the one quote you equate Michael Jordan with?
Republicans buy sneakers too.
Republicans buy sneakers fucking too. And granted, The Last Dance did give me a different perspective on that quote. Dude was like 20-something years old back then.
He knew his role. He knew his role. He knew his position.
And that's Michael Jordan. You want to talk about powerful black men? He knew his role. That's Michael Jordan, bro.
Doesn't make the decision right or wrong, but he just knew his role.
No, I'm saying that to drive home the point.
No, I got you.
That dude, there is no more beloved, no more I don't see color, no more acceptable black man on the planet than Michael Jordan. And he had to know his role. You feel me? Mm-hmm. He had to know his role. That motherfucker is a hero. A hero. Mm-hmm. And he had to be like, man, I can't really say how I feel. Republicans buy sneakers too. Shit. You know how it is, but fuck, man. White people got me under. Fuck. I'm trying to dribble my way. I'm trying to slam dunk on my way to freedom for you motherfuckers. Like, what's going on here.
I think it's very interesting that you bring that point up because I think LeBron really took that
to the next level.
I think he took that shit and was like, I get it.
Man,
I understand
God bless
it.
That dude, yo.
But he was like, nah, I gotta do something. I got a 180 that.
But you know what?
I got a 180
You gotta respect it.
Though. No, I know. I get that. No, I respect the fuck out of Michael Jordan's decision like that. All right, cool. You don't want to be a face of the NBA. You don't want to be a spokesperson. You don't want to be that guy. Cool. I understand that. Your opinion, your life is your life. LeBron took it to the point and was like, yo, listen, we're going to build schools. Mm-hmm. We're going to build better situations for voting. We're gonna
all these arenas that you see us playing. We're gonna turn these into voting centers.
So they're
gonna be motherfuckers like you've seen the obscene lines out of these voting centers.
Yeah.
Like purposely trying to get you not to vote. Purposely trying to get you to stay home.
And this man says we're gonna turn Dodger Stadium into a voting center.
Ain't gonna be no
excuses.
No excuses. I'm doing everything I can. I'm using every single one of my resources to really invoke change. And if he does all that and it still doesn't work out, he could sleep well at night knowing he did everything he possibly could.
And it just popped up right here on ESPN. It says, Jared Kushner plans to reach out to LeBron. LeBron, look me in the face right now if you're watching this. Please do not go and sit with that man. There is no constructive conversation to have with Jared Kushner. Not with Silver Spoon. That man didn't earn a penny of his money. He didn't earn any fucking kudos for that situation. To be a senior advisor to his fucking stepfather.
It's hilarious.
So please, LeBron,
it's
just look me in the face, bro. Gray beard and all. Do not sit with that man.
Yo, it's hilarious.
Don't Kanye out. Please don't go to Kanye route, brother. Stay your ass in the bubble. Keep evoking change. Focus on the schools. Even if you're not playing ball, focus on the voting centers, bro. Focus on Space Jam 2 for all you need to. But do not go to 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. Do not.
Nah,
Please don't, my man.
I don't think LeBron.
Please.
That. I think LeBron's a very intelligent person.
Please, my nigga. Oh, God.
I don't think he's going to put himself in that position.
I hope he doesn't. Oh, I hope he doesn't, man. I hope he doesn't.
I'll put it like this, man. I hope that, and you know, by the time, you know, this comes back out, or this comes out, or by the time we film the next episode, the NBA do plan to restart the playoffs this weekend. But they're at a point where they're not gonna, you know, I think we're gonna see a lot of different, a lot of changes.
In regards to what?
See a lot of changes. I think we're gonna. All these performative slogans and actions and, you know, feel good moments to try and make us feel better about what the hell is going on out here. I think the pressure is really going to be put on these owners. And that's why I wanted to shout out Michael Jordan, an NBA owner, the only black NBA owner, you know what I mean, for being in the trenches with those other 29 other NBA owners that can really evoke change. The people that can really, you know, put the pressure on legislators, politicians,
policies.
Yeah. These are the real people, because money talks. Those people that you vote in are only voted in because they have to serve you, the people, and you, the people who have the money. They only serve those folks. They only serve like those people. When you always hear about people donating millions of dollars, oh, we saw such and such coach donate a couple $100,000 to something campaign and this campaign. Like, you think they sitting there serving you, the actual American people? No, they're serving those people that are donating money to these campaigns. Those are the guys they need to impress. And we got a guy by the name of Michael Jordan who we've known our entire life. And we know that, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to put all of my hopes and dreams of black liberation into one person. I don't think it's going to take one person to make any of this happen. What I do believe is we got to give ourselves a fighting chance. We need fighters in every walk of life. You're going to have some uncomfortable allies in this because the goal should be clear. The goal should be clear this November. And even after November, especially after November, we cannot let up. We cannot let up. If happy-go-lucky things happen and Trumpito is voted out of the White House, it don't matter who's in that office. We cannot let up.
We're going to drag your ass out of there, Cheeto. Tell you that much. We dragging your ass out of there, Cheeto.
And then we got a call on the line. We got
in the building tonight, man.
Put the volume up. Make sure the volume's up so we could
we got in the building.
Hear them. You know, usually these episodes that we drop during the week, we try to have like a special guest come through. And happily we got somebody who we are, you know, extremely excited to talk to. Couldn't think of a better person to chat with. You know what I mean? On today's episode. There he is right here. Let's put on the line, man. Recently free.
What's going on?
Bearded, looking luscious, looking incredible. You know what I mean?
What's up?
Can you turn your phone to the side?
Turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways so we can get the nice
screen.
panoramic joint.
Do what?
So just turn your phone sideways. We got Loon on the phone coming in on Say Less with Kaz. Shout out to Loon. There it is. Perfect. There we go. We got the legendary, you know what I mean? Let's get it. Special delivery. Make this money.
First and foremost, brother.
For all that, have at it, please.
How are you doing mentally? How are you feeling, man?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be home. Happy to be with my family.
Yeah.
Happy to definitely connect with all the people that supported me through the whole duration of my incarceration. Happy to be out here, aiding, assisting a lot of people who advocate for change as far as the criminal justice system, as far as, prison reform, social and economic, development, so on and so forth. Like, these things are pinnacle right now. These things are very important, and I'm honored, to be on that front line, So I had this delusional thought of coming home and just isolate myself for 2 months and just, bask in the love and, appreciation that comes with my family and so on and so forth. But that was a delusion. So far I hit the floor running. So I've been busy, just trying to stay active and involved. So, I appreciate y'all inviting me, to express this joy and this overwhelming feeling of, just greatness surrounding, myself, you guys, everything that's going on is beautiful right now.
Man, it's so good to see you healthy and free. You know what I mean? Getting to breathe a free man's air. You know what I mean? But and I wish we could be speaking on better circumstances, obviously. But you're somebody who's lived it. You're somebody who's been through the system. You're somebody who is getting reacclimated into, America, and seeing what has transpired over the past several years, this year in particular, with police brutality and aggression and systemic racism and policies that have been put in place within this country to keep people that look like you and me and low-key just down. I would just love to get your thoughts on just where your mind state is at, because I know you came out fighting. I know you wanted to be home and chill, but you right back on the front lines, ready to make this happen. So I love to get your mental thoughts right now.
There's an obligation for all of us right now. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna call ourselves men, then we need to be what men are. You know what I'm saying? Men are created to provide and defend and protect. Understand? So we can't ascribe ourselves to the characteristic of it being a man. We ain't talking about, by gender. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about what qualifies to be a man. And right now is a time for men. It's time for men to be accountable. It's time for men to assert themselves in a manner that goes in accordance with being a man. So for me, I've been in prison, where a certain injustice, is prevalent. And I've actually watched through the course of the 9 years I've been incarcerated, these injustices in the street. You understand? So there's a combination of emotions that I have, One, I never really ever had being in the streets or growing up in the streets of Harlem was fear. As a Muslim, I fear Allah. I fear God. And I fear God alone. Mm. But I can't help but look at the circumstances that are like immensely present right now in America with this, with this police brutality. Like, this is scary. This is a scary situation. Just watching the situation with, Jacob Blake really put me in a state like, I'm just coming home. You understand? I'm just coming home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't even got my license renewed, nothing. I'm running around here with a piece of paper printed out from the DMV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm black and I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim and I'm black. You understand? That puts me directly in harm's way.
It's double jeopardy.
You know what I'm saying? Dealing with policemen who have just completely deviated from the moral aspects of their job.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this yesterday at a prison reform summit that I grew up in Harlem. It was a different time when I was younger. We had actual police that came from the communities.
Yeah.
So when you have a police officer who's serving and protecting the community that he lives in, he implements that moral aspect of the job. Because one, he's there to serve and protect. Two, he's from the community. So he understands by way of close and personal relationships that he have within that community. So he's able to gauge certain things and deal with certain things accordingly. He doesn't just come with a one-dimensional approach to every situation like someone who may be foreign. So we had a lot of programs and organizations and certain contingencies put in place that mended the relationships between law enforcement. And I say law enforcement, we're not talking about cops. We're talking about law enforcement, those who enforce law. These things were put in place to mend the relationship and sustain the relationship between law enforcement and the communities that they serve. Somewhere down the line, when Giuliani became the mayor, we just received like droves of officers that came straight from Long Island or some other area, outside of the 5 boroughs. And that moral aspect of the job started to gradually disappear to where it started to feel like you were being approached by someone who was a complete opposition of, who you are, what you represent, and where you live. So seeing that widespread throughout ghettos of America, it just shows you that this disparity in community relations between law enforcement and the recipients or residents of these communities, this is actually at the root of the problem.
How do you my fault. Keep going.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I was just asking, like, how do we rectify that narrative, or how do we rectify that type of behavior? Like, where does the change come in place, or is there even a possibility for a change to come in place? Because these police officers, like you said, are not rooted from the communities. They have this blue shield, Blue Lives Matter protection thing. They don't talk behind the code of the blue shield, and it's like, I feel it's so deep now that it's just like, how do you just unravel all that? Like, what's the solution to that, if there even is a solution?
I believe that the solution, Allah knows best, but it starts with the right conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because the emotions in America are so flared up, it's kind of hard to establish even a forum for this conversation. But I actually propose to some very important people who advocate for change and advocate for, police reform, that there should be town hall meetings established in the ghettos of America, mostly in the cities, with the police who actually do the grunt work, those who come out, on a regular basis to police these communities, Conversations need to be established between them and the recipients of the community in the communities. Because what happens is when it's time to have dialogue, they send these seasoned, media-trained police to speak on behalf of the police department, and they speak in a manner that preserves the reputation of the police department.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're skilled. They know how to talk. You understand? So they know how to elude certain questions and so on and so forth. But the conversations need to be with those that do the grunt work, those that are sent out there in these communities. And they constantly use it as an excuse that they're fearful for their lives. But this is a two-way street. It's a two-way street. You're only fearful because these are communities that are foreign to you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody would be scared to go in a community, even us as Black people. You understand? We're not going into other communities that have people that look just like us. Right. I'm not going over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nah, them dudes over there is wild. You understand?
Yeah.
So when we take accountability and identify where the fear lies, where the problems lie, where the breakdown in communication, all of these things lie, then we can start from the root and start working towards a solution. You understand? Mm. But the solution is something that has to change in the hearts. You can have legislation, you can have all these things put in place. But if it's in your heart to hate me, there's not a single law that you'll be able to pass that's going to change that.
That's the one thing I've tried to drill into so many people, man. Like, that's why I feel like racism is incurable, because yeah, you could put in laws that stop prejudice. You can put in laws that stop, like, you know, people, you know, not getting you a job or having sort of like meeting sort of quotas and all that type of stuff. But this is a war of morals to me. I don't think this is a war of law and order and legislation and all that type of stuff, because I always believe like in the boomerang effect. Like, I feel like as much progress as we make, there's always going to be, and it's been proven throughout the last 400 years, there's always going to be those segment of people who's going to fight back. Like, it's a disease. It's a disease where people believe that, you know, there are no equal rights. Like, white supremacy is an actual disease that not only helps put the people in power in this country and keep them in power, but it's gotten us to the point where we don't know if there really is a cure for this. So I ask you this, Loon. We see what's going on with the NBA. You know, we see what's going on with athletes worldwide. And granted, I'm not asking a superstar athlete to solve racism or save the day, but they do have a lot of influence. They do make a lot of money. They do make enough money to make difference in the communities. I'd just like to get your thoughts on what more people of influence can do. You know, I feel like once this all started really going down in the last 48 hours, everybody was like, all right, well, what's next? All right, we sit out a few games. We get everybody's attention. TNT loses some money. ESPN loses some money. Some team owners miss a paycheck or two. But what's next? What is the first way that you believe some actual change can start in this country?
I mean, you gotta actually look at the question you're asking and the timeline in which a solution can emerge. You're talking about something that has been taking place in this country for hundreds of years. Understand? Hundreds of years. Something of that magnitude does not change overnight. And we have to be mindful of that, and we have to be prepared to endure what it takes to invest in finding a solution. Now, if you think about it, you know, you have a family, right? You have a wife, kids, you have significant other, children. Do you have those things?
Yeah.
It's your obligation to protect them, right?
Yes.
Now, for someone outside of your space to come in your house and try to fill that void, they wouldn't know how, right?
No, never.
Okay. My point I'm trying to make is when we were younger, it was cool. It was actually safe to say, when I grow up, I want to be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
When I grow up, I want to be a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, being a fireman and being a doctor in 2020, that's a harmless thing to say. But this generation and the stigma that comes behind being a police officer is associated with being a rat and all these type of things. You understand?
Yeah.
But in all actuality, who else do you want to police your community? If you have a problem, right, with someone who may be of Caucasian descent, white, whatever the case may be, if you have a problem with them coming to your community, telling you where to stand, get off the corner, when to leave, when to go, and so on and so forth, or just have no respect whatsoever for your existence in the community that you live in. If you have a problem with that, right, then that means that it becomes an obligation for you to do the job. It becomes an obligation for you to do the job, because when you think about everybody that wants to be a rapper or entertainer or athlete, right? It's like hitting the lotto. The chances of that happening are very, very slim in some cases, right?
Super slim, yeah.
But what is the chances of you going to sign up to be a police officer to police your community?
Greater than becoming an athlete.
Exactly. So the problem lies with what role are we willing to play to get a solution? Are we going to keep trying to play this from the outside? Are we going to keep trying to find someone of influence to be responsible for what goes on in the communities they may have came from because they achieved some magnitude of success, so now it becomes their obligation to come back and put themselves in danger?
Yeah.
The fact that they're standing up, the fact that they're using their platform, their relevancy, and their success to bring awareness to these things, that's enough to ask for. That's a lot to ask for. You understand?
Yeah, that's been something I've really harped on, man. Like these athletes, we ask a lot of them already, man. They already are the miracles. They already won the human lottery. You know what I'm saying? And we're asking them not only to survive out of these incredible situations that most of them come from, take care of their family, take care of their community, do their job, entertain the world. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the NBA has been holding this country together.
And then now dealing with the pandemic.
And now, you know what I'm saying, you're asking them to figure out a way to solve something that nobody's been able to solve for 400 years.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the problem. See, the problem is, like, you got to understand, like, it's easy for us to point out all the things that's in opposition to us being Black people in America. It's easy. It's easy for us to all find the commonality in the issues, right?
Yeah.
We could sit here and talk about this for hours. Hours. And even at this point right now, these voices have been heard. The thing is, what's the next move? What is the next move? Wallahi Azim, I swear by Allah, if I had my felonies expunged and so on and so forth, I would proudly at this moment take a position, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To help, you know what I'm saying, serve and protect the community I love. I love Harlem. I just came from Harlem. Harlem embraced me, showed me more love than I thought. Not saying that I was skeptical or had any doubts about how I'd be received, but after 9 years, I never thought it would be to the magnitude it was, and it was something that was overwhelming and something that was meaningful, and it made me feel proud to be from Harlem.
Well, to be fair, Loon, they never stopped playing your records out here. I don't know if it was out here. We still jamming to your records out here. If anything, if that's any indication.
Yeah, and I appreciate that and I respect that. And I've already established my disclaimer on the Breakfast Club. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I haven't listened to music in 12 years. Because 2 reasons I mentioned. One, legislated. In Islam, music is forbidden. So, you have some Muslim brothers out there that actually still struggle with the music, and that's between them and the law. But for me, I abstain for that reason. And secondly, you know what I'm saying, you can't have one without the other. Meaning you can't have music without the culture. Right. Or the lifestyle. You can't separate the two. You can't just say, let's do music, but we don't have to indulge in the culture or the lifestyle that comes with music.
Right.
I'd be lying. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm trying to abstain from these things for the embetterment of myself and my soul, then I have to leave it off all the way. I'm 10 toes on everything I do. Understand? My paperwork straight. I ain't never told on nobody. I'm not that kind of dude. But back to my point. If I qualify to go and be a police chief, a lieutenant, or something of that magnitude, to bring harmony within my community, I would do it. Because I know that my influence and me taking that position will ultimately result in some type of immediate change.
You're from that neighborhood. You know what your community needs, and there's a level of safety over there, man.
Exactly. So it's like, look, these people are signing up to be police all over the ghettos of America to enter these communities and have their way. And they're getting away with it.
I mean, it's being broadcasted all over America. We see all these clips, the Eric Garners, George Floyd's. Yeah. We see it. They're getting away with it and getting minimal time or not even anything.
And to be honestly fair, and this is where we have to be fair as Black people as well. We actually add to that narrative because you got to look at our behavior as well.
Right.
We have to be honest with ourselves as well. Understand? Because it's a tragedy when it happens to be someone in opposition of us by way of ethnicity. But the greatest atrocity that takes place in our community is us killing us. Yeah. You understand?
Now, Loon, I'll definitely...
All of this has to be discussed. This is not a one-trick pony. Like, all of this has to be discussed. And it has to be discussed in a forum of people who have influence.
Now, Loon, I want to push back on that just a little bit. I want to push back on just a little bit because, I do understand, yes, as a community, we got to police our own. We absolutely have to, take care of our own because, if we don't, we're all we got. And if we don't take care of each other, nobody else will. But I'll challenge you on this. Right now, recently, there's been a push to, quote, defund the police, right? And people see that and they think, oh, so you don't want no police officers? You don't want, no, we don't see that. What they want to do is take the budgets, the billions of dollars that go into police efforts, militarizing the police, that is super unnecessary. Like the fact that there was tanks and army gear ready to take out protesters in a day, but it took weeks and weeks to get pandemic gear, to people in hospitals, was uncalled for. And I believe, in these communities, like you're from Harlem, people there, like they're good people. It's not like people need to have militarized police or any sort of like overwhelming police force to keep them calm. What they need is resources. What they need is to have budgets put back into that city, into that community. So there is no need to rob. There is no need to steal. There's no no sense of hopelessness in that community anymore because I've lived in Harlem and I've lived in Jersey, like super affluent neighborhoods in Jersey, and the only difference between both of those neighborhoods is opportunity and God, the word I'm looking for is opportunity and resources. They have an abundance of resources here. You got kids going to they can go to rec centers, they can go to community pools, they can, open up stores. They got, the banks can loan them money to open up stores so they can put more money in other people's pockets. Like, it's such a night and day.
But I think to Loon's point, even going back to the community aspect of, policing your own community and being a person that comes from your community, I think it kind of starts there with you come from that community. All right, I would like, if he was qualified to do it, he'd do it. And that changes the narrative and the rhetoric of those communities, because now someone who comes from Harlem or who comes from Jersey, I can say, hey, you should be doing this. Hey, this is a program you need. The cops in these communities aren't doing that right now.
Right.
Hey, check this out. Let me ask y'all something, man, because I might be a little older than y'all, man. They used to have, they used to have organizations like the PAL, Police Athletic League.
I was in the PAL.
They used to have each one teach one. They used to have the boys club, YMCA.
Yeah.
All of these things, right? The PAL actually had boxing tournaments, all types of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the police that actually facilitated those programs, they were so connected to the youth. We knew them. We called them by their names. You understand?
Yeah.
If you didn't show up for some type of sickness or whatever you might have, endured, these same people would come to your house to see what the problem was. Like, yo, he hasn't come to the PAL in like a week. Like, what's up with him? That's something you and I would do if we had that job.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, we can't run from that because of the, listen, man, this whole, like, I'm gonna keep it a band and a rubber band right now. Like, it's like this whole keep it real stuff, man.
Yeah.
You understand? There's layers to that. Because a lot of people in the generation that followed mine have a really misconception of what that means. You understand? You got to understand what it means, first and foremost, to be a man. Remember what I said in the beginning of this. A man, he protects, he provides, he defends. You understand?
Yeah.
No matter what we did in the streets, man, we made sure, Miss Connie was, she coming downstairs, somebody run upstairs, get that shopping cart for Miss Connie, yo. I don't care what we was doing out there in the streets. I don't care how much dope we sold, whatever the case may be. We knew how to be respectful to those who were not involved with what we were doing. You understand?
Yes.
And that's from the most negative aspect. You understand? We're doing things that we ain't supposed to be doing in the street. But if we see an old lady, we help her cross the street.
Yep.
We see a pregnant woman, don't sell her nothing. These morals used to lie in the hearts of those who even did wrong in the street. We understood this. We understood that.
I'll shout out my guy Van Lathan. He had a great tweet that he put out yesterday. He said, I know more good Crips than I do good cops. You know what I mean? Which is
Facts.
Exactly. Like, I really sat there and looked at it. I was like, damn, like, yeah, he a Crip, but he put on Thanksgiving dinners every November. Like, he a Crip, but
and that's what I'm trying to say, man.
He makes sure he
I
pay
went
for these
to a
kids'
book
jerseys.
signing from Michelle Smalls, Queen of Harlem. I've been hearing about Michelle in jail. You know what I'm saying? About the charitable things she does from her own means. The girl go out there, hustle real estate. She do her own thing, and she give back to the community that she loves. You understand? But what I did see that there was a lot of dudes running around with a lot of shiny stuff on their neck and their arms, but they ain't throwing the bag her direction to do the things that she's doing.
Right.
Because they don't come from the same generation that she comes from. And me and her talked about this. You know what I'm saying? We talked about certain individuals that used to reside in Harlem. When you come to them and you got a project, quote unquote, a project, whatever it is you're trying to do, if it was something that was attractive, these brothers would throw you the bag right away. I'm trying to do a cookout, block party. They throw you the bag. You understand? Everybody trying to look like somebody on TV. Everybody it's like this instant gratification generation. It's like y'all, and I'm not saying this to be mean or demeaning or anything. It's just that this is where the majority of the energy needs to be invested in accountability. What are we doing? Because I get mad when I see how easy it is to identify with the problem, but no one invests the same energy in coming up with the solution. You understand? We can't keep sitting over alcoholic beverages talking about what's wrong. We can't keep pulling on blunts talking about what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because now that just becomes an extension of getting high. You just want to get high to talk about what's wrong. Like, come on, dog. That's what you want to do? Like, that's what you into right now? Being drunk and miserable, high and miserable. We got to be men, dog. We got to be men. And that means accountability. That means you ain't got no F on your report card, dog. You ain't got no felonies. Then what you waiting for? What are you waiting for? They get snatched up in some BS, and now you can never get a gun legally in another state or whatever the case may be.
That's right.
Now you never be able to have the right to vote or do all these things. What are you waiting for? You keep, a lot of the young kids is out there just rehearsing to go to the feds. Y'all out there rehearsing to go to the feds. I just came from it. It's overrated, dog. It's overrated. You in videos with Dracos and no shirt on and all. Come on, you rehearsing to go to jail.
Damn.
That's all you doing. You rehearsing to go to jail. You ain't even got no felony yet. But you're doing everything to get one.
Like you're begging to get one.
Now, when the police come to spoil the party, don't cry.
Yeah.
Don't complain. And definitely don't get up on the stand and start pointing your finger. You signed up for this. You understand? You signing up for this stuff, man. Change start with, you gotta look at the people that's on the front line for all this too. They're not just black. Let's stop doing that too. Let's start giving credit to those other people of other races and ethnicities, other creeds and beliefs, standing side by side saying Black Lives Matter. Standing side by side, enduring being arrested, persecuted, harassed, beaten, tear gas, sprayed, and don't look nothing like you. Because you said something about white supremacy. Understand? We have an issue as well with black nationalism. Because sometimes we let it get away from us. This is a humane issue. This is a humane issue, and unfortunately, we're the recipients of it. I get that. Trust me, I'm black. I come from the ghettos of America. I would never deny in no way, shape, or form that this is an oppressive state for black people. But if you look at the civil rights movement and anything that ever, manifests into something more, relevant in the eyes of those who don't know, don't understand, or oppose it, they only respected it when other people from other races joined in. So don't alienate these people neither, man. I just came from a prison reform summit, man, and the majority of the people, I didn't even say the majority, it was almost equal amount of white people, billionaire, privileged people who felt genuine compassion and concern for the plight of black people. So we got to be careful how we, how we just utter our anger and frustration towards white people in general, but you have some white people who specifically feel your pain, but you'll never be able to identify with them if you just allow your anger to box them out or alienate them from the process. Because this is a humane issue. We're human beings. Yeah, we black, but we human beings. So I'm gonna just close with this, man. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with y'all because I don't want to be talking all day. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I'm loving this, man. This is
listen though, because it's like I'm very passionate about this, and this is where I like that whole delusion of staying home for 2 months. This is where it goes out the window. Because what kind of man would I be just be sitting around at home while all this is going on. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, like, what kind of man would anybody be knowing you ain't got no felonies, you ain't got no near brushes or nothing with the law, but you choosing to just devalue that by, I don't know, doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you're tired of this stuff happening in your community, then sign up, man, and serve and protect your community. Serve and protect your community. Whether you do it from being like a councilman, you know what I'm saying, assemblyman, start with small positions, but police your community, be a part of your community, dog. Because not being a part of the community don't mean staying out on no corner, claiming no block or no corner. I don't mean being a part of no community. That block gonna be there when you gone, dog. In most cases, they might not even remember you, man. You might get a rest in peace booby shirt, and once that joint get in the laundry, man, anybody wearing that shirt no more. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real.
Rest in peace, booby. That's
you know
real shit though. Like, niggas, you go on a day and then that's it.
Come on, 4 or 5 beers get poured out. It's over for you. You a dub. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all out there, and this is my message, man. Get in where you fit in. Get in where it's effective. Get in where it means something. You know what I'm saying? Honor and respect those athletes that's putting their careers on the line just to bring relevancy to your problems. They don't live there no more. They don't live there no more. But if they willing to take a stand and sacrifice everything that they work for to show that they in the fight with you, don't try to throw no more of a burden on top of their back, man. Like, yo, oh, that's cool. He just, threw up the Black Panther fist and all that. Yeah, but he ain't coming around here. Come on, man. That man did enough, man. They wouldn't even recognize that you had a problem if some of these people in positions of influence didn't take a stand. Kaepernick lost everything, man. So what you gonna lose? What you willing to lose? What you willing to give up for your community? That's how you gotta look at this, man. Stop pointing the finger, man. Stop thinking legislation gonna change this. Stop thinking that this is gonna be an overnight thing. It's not overnight, man. It's gonna take generations, just like the generation before us that endured it. This generation gonna have to endure it. I'm with you. Enough is enough, but what you gonna do? That's the important thing. What are you going to do? I got 3 felonies, dog. I can't help you on that aspect, but I'm doing what I can do for where I'm at. And I'm honored to do it. I don't have no vices. There's nothing in my way. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm not distracted by nothing. This is what I'm doing. I'm just asking, generally speaking, for any man that's listening, women as well. But we shouldn't have our women out here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women, Yandy just went to jail the other day. I think this might be our second time getting arrested for this stuff. Our women shouldn't be out there getting hit in the head with no sticks and tear gas and all that. Yeah. This is a job for men, dog.
Yeah.
But because there's such a lack of men, you got women out there. Like, how you feel about that, black man? How you feel about that? They should be home, nurturing, cultivating your children, protecting them in your absence while you out there protecting them outside. Gotta get our affairs in order, man. Priorities in order, man. Stop talking about the problem, man. Let's get to the cure, man. Call me for the cure, man. For real, man. Call me for the cure, man.
Loon, it's a lot of raw emotions for us, but I on everything I love, man. There's no other person I'd rather talk to on today's episode than you, man. So thank you so much for giving us your time and speaking from the heart, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody out there. My man Mike Song, you know what I'm saying? He out there in Kentucky. They out there, man. It's people out there. You know what I'm saying? People don't know about a lot of, you know what I'm saying, people that advocate. Bishop Omar, you know what I'm saying, out of Texas, OGU, you know what I'm saying?
Trade the Truth is also out there too.
Yeah, these people is out there, man. These people are out there. Yeah. They fighting. You know what I'm saying? You got some Republican senators trying to do what they can, Democratic senators. It's like, dog, listen, man. All that's fine and well. But what are you going to do about your community? If you enjoy living there, you love living there, you love claiming it, you love being from there, you're not going to hold that down with no rag and none of that type of stuff, man. It's not applicable to today's time. If you ain't a part of the, you know what I'm saying, the solution, you part of the problem, dog. I'm just being 100. If you ain't part of the solution, you part of the problem, man.
Well,
before
you go, you got any socials that you want to shout out, or anything that you got in the works that you want to put some light on right now?
I know you're working on a book, right? Or the book coming out?
I'm working on the book. I'm working on a 6-part documentary, but I'm not even really like in the space right now to talk about what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'll probably do that with somebody or some other time right now. Like right now, I'm not even thinking about me. To be honest with you. I'm thinking about all of my prison reform efforts, aligning myself with, you know what I'm saying, Reform Alliance. You know what I'm saying? That's Jessica Jackson, Van Jones, Jay-Z, Meek Mills. That's their organization. Stay Together. Did the Heal America joint last night. You know, there's a lot going on that's more relevant. It's way more relevant. You understand? And I challenge everybody out there that has the means, the resources, as you said, to invest those means and resources in being part of the solution. Because if you're not, then you're part of the problem, man. That's just the bottom line.
Thank you, Loon.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Hey, yo, y'all stay up, man. Be safe,
too,
man. And like I said, man, let's call me for the solution, dog.
Well, we
I'll jump on this joint. Yeah, call me for the
solution. We're gonna be in touch,
man.
Let us know, man. There's the time for sitting around doing nothing is over, bro. So it's time to hit the streets.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I don't even want to talk to nobody ain't doing nothing for real. If you ain't doing nothing, man, don't call me, man. Leave me alone, dog. Call me for the solution, man. I ain't here to talk about nothing, man, but the solution. I'm trying to line myself up with the people who want to solve some problems, man. I don't want to be around nobody that, you know what I'm saying? One conspiracy enough for me, dog. I'm cool. I ain't got no more to give, man. I don't want to be around no more shenanigans. If you're trying to be a part of the solution, man, call me, man. I'm there. If you want to talk about the problem all day, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I know what the problem is. I'm black too, man. I'm born and raised in the guy. I know what the problem is. We know what the problem is, man. And you're not going to get people to accept how you feel about the problem until you come to the table with some solutions. You understand? Come to the table with some solutions. Then you're going to get a response. You know what I'm saying? But meeting aggression with aggression only leads to more aggression. And that's just the reality of it. That's simple logic, man. You know, I got my opinions. I might not always be right. I'm not a genius. I just know that where my heart lies. My heart lies with trying to be a part of the solution. So let me leave you with that. And I pray that y'all, you know what I'm saying, man, Allah guide y'all, rectify y'all affairs, man. This is real.
Appreciate you, Loon.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right.
All right. You want to save that? And, man, I can't even, ain't nothing to top that.
I really don't believe there's anywhere else.
There's nowhere else to go after that, bro. So I want to shout out Jake for not saying a word all day today. No, just kidding.
But no, this was like you said, this was self-care
and
this was there's no better way or conversation.
Sometimes the medicine don't taste like candy, bro.
Yeah, there's no better way to articulate what me and this man, or what you guys are feeling out there, and having a man who just came home from the feds to really speak to the point of like policing our own communities, being involved with our own communities, stop, mulling over the problem and not coming to the table with the solution. Like he said, man, calling for the cure. And I respect that. Some people are a little bit more further minded. He's been locked down for 9 years, he said?
9 years. Bro.
He's had a lot of time to think. And it sounds like he's ready to, figure out what the fuck is going on and how we can get it, aligned with some kind of, resolution. So, again, shout to Loon for stopping and having that in-depth conversation.
Shout out to Amir, definitely.
But yeah, shout out to Kim, for linking that. Shout out to Kim
legendary-
Osorio.
Legendary Kim Osorio, man.
Shout out to Kim Osorio for getting us connected.
Let's wrap this up, man.
Yeah.
As always, please subscribe to the podcast. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, subscribe to us, youtube.com/Kazim.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be back in the barbershop next week, but we had to take this on from a safe space, and I'm glad you all were in here to listen to it. So please shut up, Pootie. If there's
dumbass
dog. Anyway, please don't just skim over this podcast. Listen to really listen to what Loon was trying to say.
Yeah.
This is probably the first time I did a podcast and I had nothing to say back. I was just absorbing.
Again, that was medicine.
And I hope everybody who listens to this absorbed this too. Like we say every single week, you know what I mean? Stay free, stay safe, and always say less.
And because we're in Kaz's house, I don't want to be too loud, but wear your fucking mask.